improvised names.
This is not your crib, man.
You can tell the yin yang.
They want y'all to rent fake cribs, so it look like I got real big money, or like they trying to make y'all, you know. Okay. What's good, YouTube? Your boy, that's better break a video. The biggest three, KP. We're going YouTube, man. How y'all come on the beautiful day? How y'all doing, Ski? Now another race video. Y'all see before this, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, follow me. Type to my main channel, type my screen with the description, and I'm in this video. Type to my third channel, link in the description. Let me twist my camera. Alright, that should be good. Alright, but let's into the video. No kissing, no cap. My bad.
Ferraris, they were rented.
MTV
Robbie Williams'
Cribs
castle
was
home,
extremely
it
fake.
belonged to someone else. MTV Cribs wasn't exactly legit.
And we said that was my house.
Oh, that wasn't your house?
No, it's all lies.
And nothing shows this better than
it's
the
all lies?
episode with Ja Rule. He flexed his five-bedroom mansion on Star Island in Miami, where he talked about living beside other famous celebrities. The house was so familiar that Ja Rule named each area, calling his courtyard the Open Paradise, which was patrolled by his guard dog Cookie. It was shown in the intro that the property was a rental, but this was assumed to be on a long-term basis, given he knew almost everything about the mansion. However, as it turns out, Ja Rule's house on Cribs was actually a 4-day rental, which was exposed in the most embarrassing way, by lawsuit. Ja Rule paid $46,000 for the 4-day lease, promising the mansion's owner it'd be used as a private home for 8 adults with no video shoots and no loud parties. Well, Ja Rule broke all 3 conditions, shooting his MTV episode whilst having a party with over 600 people. In the process, holes were punched in the walls, furniture and doors were damaged, the driveway somehow cracked, while condoms and syringes were left throughout the house. As a result, Ja Rule and MTV was sued for $1 million, but at least it looked like a house that Ja Rule would live in, as the Yin Yang Twins' crib was laughably out of character. The Atlanta gangster rapping duo opened the door revealing the most suburban house, filled with fish tanks, sailing boats, and sea-related
They got a fake
artwork.
not fake lifestyle, but
we decorated this ourselves now.
That mansion was definitely decorated by some old white people, not the Yin Yang Twins.
This is clearly just a random old white guy's house that likes to fish and likes boats.
That even argue over where they bought appliances and had to imprise names.
This is not your crib, man.
You can tell the Yin Yang Twins have never been in that house. It seemed they at least owned the vehicles at the end, as the cars displayed by Bow Wow were rented for the show. He was just 18 years old during his first Cribs appearance, but despite having starred in some high-profile movies, it seemed unrealistic that he could afford a 6-bedroom mansion and a fleet of luxury cars. With his name airbrushed above his bed, it seemed as though Bow Wow at least owned the house, although the luxury vehicles were a little more suspicious, because 2 years later he'd go on the show again, during which a viewer made an observation. We had MTV Cribs running in the background and watched 21-year-old Bow Wow show off his bachelor pad in Miami, along with his pimped out Bentley, Lamborghini, and Cadillac Escalade. But then we noticed the word Prestige at the bottom of all 3 cars and decided to Google Prestige Rental Cars Miami, and what do you know, there it was. Prestige was the name of the company that Bow Wow rented the cars from, which was likely encouraged by the show, as Birdman also used the service during his appearance.
I'm thinking it's like a little
woman on Bow Wow stating, I wonder if he rented the condo too, which by looking at his life was also highly likely. For example, he'd post his Ferrari to his Instagram, writing, "Take the drop top to the night spot. Keep the California in California. We went hard tonight, Grammy weekend," which was then reposted by a car rental company who accidentally exposed our good friend Bow Wow pulling up to the Grammys with our Ferrari California. 1 year later, he was exposed for flexing a rented Hollywood mansion, but the worst example was in 2017 when he'd post this to his Instagram. He showed the private jet he was taking to his concert, yet the very same day this Snapchat went viral. So this guy Lil Bow Wow is on my flight to NY, but on Instagram he posted a picture of a private jet caption traveling to NY today, shaking my head. Turns
That's
out
crazy.
Bow Wow's picture of his private jet had been taken from a limo company's website, prompting people to dig even deeper, discovering he'd done this on more than
That's
one
crazy,
occasion.
bro.
It seems his MTV Cribs episode led to
They
years and
living
years
some-
of
they was
faking
living some fake
luxury,
lives or
but as
whatever.
mentioned in
Not
Bow
fake
Wow's
lives, but fake lives at the
expose,
same
50
time.
Cent had done a similar thing. 50 Cent's episode was the definition of excess. He showed his 19-bedroom, 35-bathroom mansion, which included a squash court, movie theater, recording studio, and its very own nightclub. Equally
tough.
impressive was his car collection, which included 4 different rare collectible Ferraris, leading him to state,
I know you ain't see these before when you was watching Cribs because everybody ain't got these.
yet it seems 50 Cent didn't have them either. Each Ferrari had little numbers on their windshields, leading to a forum post reading, if you notice the small white numbers in the top left-hand corner of the windshields on the F50 and Enzo, those are the numbers of the cars that were in the Hartford Concorso parade, which was confirmed when the user posted these photos. Another forum member added, it's pretty obvious that they aren't his, because it's a known fact that there's only one yellow Enzo in CT, which was owned by a pretty well-known hedge fund manager. Well, someone else then officially confirmed.
I understand. Then they
The
just
Ferraris
say-
are unfortunately not 50 cents. He invited my friend over to
I
his
understand
house
it's
for
not his,
this,
okay.
and my friend let him use
Alright,
his
slow,
cars
slow.
for the episode, and they were filming some music videos that day as well. The Enzo F50 and 599 all belonged to one owner. When 50 Cent later filed for bankruptcy, he'd admit the cars were rented. He'd instead pay off debts by selling his mansion, therefore joining the likes of JoJo, who admitted to doing MTV Cribs while she was actually homeless. JoJo showed MTV through her Cape Cod vacation home, where she supposedly loved spending her summers. It was therefore a little weird that she'd invite her extended family, but she'd reveal the reason for this exactly 10 years later. JoJo was asked about the episode in a Huffington Post interview, to which she'd respond it was so ridiculous. The thing is, we didn't have a home at that point. My mum and I were living out of suitcases and were mostly in hotels. So that was actually my uncle's house on the Cape. That wasn't my house, that wasn't my stuff. I should have balled hard and been like, welcome to my crib, look at how luxurious it is, and I should have rented out a place. But no, I just used my uncle's crib. JoJo further clarified.
So we went to the Cape, which I've never been to the Cape. I never go to the Cape, and we said
is
that
the
that was my
Cape?
house.
Oh, that wasn't your house.
No, that was not my house. We brought in some items that I had. It's all lies.
Should also answer the question,
Why even bother
Crazy.
doing the episode then?
For the exposure.
Oh, okay.
but no episode was faker than the one by Robbie Williams. He showed MTV his massive British castle, talking about the spots where he'd been snapped by paparazzi. He then shows his group of friends before making a joke,
I don't really know these people, but what I do is I actually phone Rent a Friend.
but apparently he'd also phoned Rent a Castle. You see, the building was so big that people recognized it as the famous St. Catherine's Court,
That's
which was
tough,
owned by
but it
someone
looks
else
scary.
completely, Jane Seymour.
I
She
can't
had
live in a
no
big house
idea that
like that,
Robbie
bro.
ever went
It's
there,
just-
or that he'd
it's
hired a
scary,
fake
bro.
butler to help out with the shoot. It wouldn't be until
I
17
want a big
years
house, but
later
not a big house
that
like that.
Robbie finally admitted
I gotta
we
live
didn't
like
let
people.
Jane know that I was gonna pretend it was my house. And because I was like 23 and full of spunk, I didn't even consider other people's thoughts or feelings. So I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to Jane Seymour, but it might not have even been Robbie Williams' fault. Because Redman explained in a DJ Vlad interview that MTV tried to get him to rent a house for Cribs,
They wanted me to rent a house so I can open the big double doors and shit like, yo, look at my shit, you know.
with MTV trying to choose the home themselves.
The first thing they said was, all right, we got a couple of houses picked out for you. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, Redman simply refused,
And I said, you know what? No, I
So
don't want to rent a
MTV
house.
crib-
I want y'all to come
okay.
to my house.
accidentally making the show's
Okay.
most relatable episode. He brought MTV
So
Cribs
MTV
to his
Cribs,
two-bedroom apartment
They want
where
y'all
he
to
ironed
rent
his
fake house.
shirts on
Time
the
out.
floor.
Time out. They want y'all to rent fake cribs. So it look like I got real big money, or like they trying to make y'all, you know? Okay. Okay, Ski. Okay, I see.
And
I
flexed his
see.
frozen fish
I'm
fillets.
comprehending
Redman's
now.
recording
Okay.
studio was just a messy
On for
bedroom,
now.
whilst the
On for
rest of his
now.
house
I
was in
see.
such disarray, you could barely
It's
notice
empty
his
grid.
cousin sleeping
Empty
on the
grid.
ground.
MTV
He
grid.
concludes the episode stating,
Trying to make it look
next
broke
time
for
you'll
real,
need
for
to
real.
find me, just rub these 2 wires for the doorbell.
Don't worry about the screen too. You know it's still good.
The realest episode of MTV Crib.
Lesson learned, MTV Cribs, bro. Stop faking it, bro. Fake it till you make it, though. But stop faking it like that, gang. Getting these people. Yeah, I'm out.